what's up? Let me move back from the phone. Yeah, I noticed on my audio, if nobody pointed that out, but I'll be breathing onto my phone, so it'd be like, I'm sorry for that. Just tell me if that's happening. This is my third redo. Usually I don't do redos, but I kind of just want to make my what ifs, okay? But this is the. Also, I talk too much. I'm not even gonna get into it because I'll continue talking. But yeah, this is overhaul arc, and where we're gonna start out is the perspective of the Vanguard action the villain league, pretty much. And right now, they would be heading for a. Actually, yeah, the overhaul fight happened. I was just, or not overhaul, but all for one. It still happened the same. Nothing really changed. I'm so sorry. But, yeah. So, they would get there with everybody backing up. You know, what's the. Shigaraki and all that. Kurigiri would be in the background with Deku and all that. They would be just kind of just sitting in the back watching everybody and all that. So, overhaul and Shigaraki start talking. While talking, they would escalate to having them attack, overhaul attack, with trying to compress him, but overhaul would tap him on the shoulder and would have blown off his arm with it was Magni would jump in, she would jump in, and she would got blown apart, which would cause Compress to come forward and try to kill him or trap him, but it would cause his arm to blow off. Which, if you guys didn't notice, but whenever season 4 came out, the league started looking nicer to each other. I don't know how to explain it. I guess they became sort of friends. I know Shigaraki seemed to care about the league more, since he actually reacted to one of them dying. Not being sad, but he was angry. So I think they were better friends. But yeah. So Deku would have jumped forward with Shigaraki and him going to fight and all that, but Deku would be above Overhaul and would have took his hands right to Overhaul's back and would have said shadow bullets, and would have shot 3 normal ones from his hands, which would hit him, which would piss off Overhaul, and he would aim and try to hit Deku, which he would miss, so he would grab the ground and pull up spikes, with Deku sort of moving around, and he would have dodged it, around it, and kicked off of it. This was whenever he would be right in front of his face, swinging down a kick, which Overhaul would dodge, saying that your moves are too predictable, and would have go to grab him, and he would have touched Deku's leg, popping it. Or, yeah, it's pretty much popping if you think about it. And Deku had his leg shut off or blown off. with them being grabbed by Kurihiri and being brought back to the hideout. While getting there, he would still be bleeding, but around the wound would be shadows, and they would stop the bleeding there and all that. And this is whenever they would set up a deal with Overhaul throwing them something and all that, saying, here's thanks or a sorry note for your members. If you have some kind of healing quirk on your team, give them to this and they'll upgrade your quirk permanently. If you're getting at where I'm getting at. But there it comes with a risk with their quirk being amped up. They would have to go through a sort of transformation, you could say. They might have slight personality changes and all that, but it's worth it in the long run. Throwing it, and they would take it right now and stab it into Deku. Whenever Deku gets stabbed, his body would have had veins come all over it, and he would sit up for a moment, coughing up blood, and would have passed out again. This would worry them, thinking that he just poisons him, but they would leave him there, trying to treat him, but no treatment will work, and all that. They even think of getting Recovery Girl or taking her, but that's whenever Shigaraki would have to say that her quirk doesn't work like that. It can only heal physical wounds, like a cut, scrape, no diseases or poison. So she couldn't work. So we need this to run out. Plus that'll be a whole operation just to get him, just to get her. This would be a week later, but Deku would wake up with his leg being healed. So he would wake up looking at his leg, and he would be confused since he knows that he does have a regenerating ability, or life support, sometimes he calls it. But he didn't think in a week, as he knows how long it has been since he been asleep, would be enough. They estimated a month would be the time that has to take. So they would be getting ready for him, and they will be checking up on him. But while checking up on him, they would have seen him using his quirk, and he would stick out his hand, and they would say to blast a little bit of darkness, just to cover like a football size, like saying what it normally would be at a time like this, and he would shoot it with it spreading across his arm completely, with Deku not even meaning to do that big. This is whenever they would be kind of confused, you could say, and all that, but he would have did this, and they would tell him to use it, with Deku sticking out his hand, going to form something, since that is his weakest ability, you could say, or weakest power, ability, kind of the same thing. No, ability, a power is the general thing, So his darkness is a power, and his ability of his power is the other part. Yeah. So I did get it right. But he would form a complete sword, is what he would form. So after this, he would do some training, but pretty much what happened is Deku's quirk was amped up to a higher point. So yeah, right now at UAE perspective, they would be told about what's going on because all these villains attacks are happening, that they can't have regular internships, so no small agencies can have them except big ones that are trusted or think they can do it are allowed to have one. So this was whenever Deku would be recommended to Night Eyes Agency or had get sent a message for this. Instead of being linked to All Might is why he went. It's because Night Eye has a suspicion that he is part of the Villain League, since some studies have shown about one of Aizawa's mentions of a villain which was not accounted for in the whole USJ, since Aizawa did look over all of them and didn't see the same guy and all that, and none of them got teleported away except a few bosses. So yeah, he explained the quirk and explained how the new student, Izuku Midoriya, or some other name like Yami Otsutsuki, I don't know. I forget, is Yami black? Because I know Tokiyami's name should be like Shadow or something. It might be black, I'm not sure. I don't remember, but I think it is black. But, yeah. So, they would just say his name, or just say Deku, I guess, for me. And they would see what's going on, but this would be time that they go, and Deku would have went. And while being there, he would have went to his agency, and there he would meet Mirio. Him and Mirio would talk. This is whenever Bubble Girl would say, meet me back and come to Night Eye's office in 15 minutes. Deku and Mirio to see what you are doing. And all that, and where you're gonna be patrolling today. So 15 minutes later, they would hear some weird noises while walking to his office, and they would see Bubble Girl tied up and being tickled by Night Eye. He would walk in with Mario saying, here's a tip, make him laugh, and that's a good first impression. Which, whenever Deku does, it would end up horrible, since he doesn't know how to make people laugh. So, yeah. So, right now, they would be instructed to go on to a patrol around the area, and he would also be, or they would think they're informing Deku of the Overhaul incident, which, since they did think that Overhaul and the villain people met up, so he's just wondering what his reaction is and all that. And Deku would have reacted like the same as a normal person should react hearing about some new news about the mafia, I guess. I don't know. Whose reaction would that be? Honestly, if I knew there were some like mafia members near me, sounds like an app. Mafia members near me, single women near me, pretty much is what it is. I would be a little concerned, but not too much. I wouldn't look into it. So I just say he has the same reaction as the normal person or what he expected. But they would went on patrol and they would run up to Erie or Airy. Airy and them Airy would be really timid and scared and would be talking. Wouldn't be talking, she would be just. She would just be scared and would be freaked out. They would see Overhaul in the background walking towards them and would go with Mario asking if this is your kid, which he would say yes, and say, "What you doing here, Airy?" and reach out his hand, which the little girl would look scareder and run over there and grab his hand, and they would leave with Mario's face being in anger, while Deku does not wear an expression right now. They walk back and inform the new information they seemingly got Overhaul and all that. But then they would go ahead and get ready for attack and all that. Deku would be informed and all that. And so with the other agencies, now just skip right day to the attack. Deku explained that he would be a sort of recon since he is part of the mission, and just tell them to split him and Aizawa together and make Toga transform into him and all that. And so they would be in the attack. It would be Deku and Aizawa there, and Toga would be put there, and in the middle of battle with Aizawa be on the floor, and he would look towards Deku, which he'd see Deku standing up with a smile, and he would say, "I knew it," to him, saying that I knew you were the same kid that attacked me during the USJ, and all that. That's the only reason why you're with Night Eye, to gain more information on you. Deku would start laughing and say, "You're very bright, unlike other heroes that don't expect anything." And that's very impressive. But I'm not really much of an actor, so I do slip up at times. But I try to hide it as most of the time. So what gave it away? Was it my quirk, maybe? I assume so, since you're the only person that see me during the USJ incident. So, what are we gonna do with you, Deku would say. Maybe we should just take you and maybe try to see if we can use your eyes to reuse your cork, or maybe take it away if that's possible, and all that. And right now, he would be confused, and he would say, but All for One is dead. Deku would say that the All for One's quirk, just like One for All, could be passed down, but not in a regular manner. And there is a upgrade that the Doc, or whatever the villain name of him is, can give us. But it is a long procedure. It will make you have to wait 4 months just for us to take a quirk. But it would be interesting. So he would say, how about we do this? Telling Toga to let him go, which she would. He would say that you can leave and take down other heroes, I guess. But I'm gonna fight Aizawa. She would say, but can't cancel your quirk. He would say yes, but his quirk has been weakened from the Nomu, so I should be able to manage. And Deku would pull out his blade, tell Toga if he has an extra one, which she would throw, and Deku would rush forward. With Aizawa getting released, he would too, and Deku would go stabbing at Aizawa, with a whole fight scene happening. And all that. So yeah. After a while, Deku would say to Aizawa, after being stabbed in the shoulder, saying that, so if I would have used my quirk in an instant, that you can't see it or be able to cancel it, and theoretically you wouldn't know when to activate your quirk to cancel mines, right? So if I would have just covered my blade in a little darkness, as soon as it got close to you, I could have activated it and would have killed you instantly, right? But I don't want to do that, so I'll rather say just capture you. Rushing at Aizawa, throwing his knife towards him, and what he did was stabbed him in the hands, and he would have had a dark whip or dark strain and would pulled it back and would spling blood into Aizawa's eyes and charged towards him and grabbed him by the face and would have said goodbye to him. And Aizawa would be covered in smoke or darkness and would be left in a sort of cocoon, you could say. And yeah. So right now, Aizawa would have been captured with Mirio dying and Overhaul leaving. But while leaving, Overhaul, with everybody chasing him, would have met up with Deku, not the other villain leagues, and just by himself. So this is in the battle that right now Deku would have charged towards him and would have did a whole battle scene of him using just regular punches and all that to try to take him down. and all that. But he would have punched and all that. He eventually would jump back and would have stuck out his hands, send him forth with a blade. First the handle would appear, then the handle would go up, twisting into into a twisted shape all around with 4 prongs on each side, or each, you say, like a square box, you could say, would happen. And the whole blade of blackness would come forth with... Sorry, my cat was being rude, I guess. I don't know. Had to pull out a toy. Old one. But yeah. So, I think I left off with the fight. But his sword would appear with Deku dashing forward. And would have went straight up to him in his transformation form by touching the big friend that can absorb energy from people, cutting off his limbs, taking his sword, impaling into his arms, dispersing the sword into his arm, reappearing it, slicing it off, then his other hand, and said this was for Magni and Compress for what you did to them, with him looking with a defeat in his eyes, with his skin reacting to it, which I think he had like sensitive sand or something like that. That's why his skin kind of bubbled up like that. But yeah. And he would have left him there with the heroes finding him. And they are confused and horrific since he is missing limbs. And it seems like somebody attacked him. And they must have knew who he was if they just cut off his limbs. But yeah, this is the end of the series. I made this one a quick series since I just want to get out like a full series content. This year came out. I wanted to go into manga, but myself told me not to. Like, I was just going to do the whole, like, license exam for Todoroki and Bakugo, which will be coming out soon, so I'll probably update this one. The person has not contacted me to redo this, so I guess he liked it, but I'm so sorry. What was your name? But the dude that contacted me, I don't know what happened, but like yesterday, as soon as I posted these videos, I was talking to somebody that wanted me to go on Discord and talk about something. I totally forgot. It was a while ago, but if you're at this end, contact me again, I guess. But it won't let us go over 5 messages, or every time you send one, it would just disappear. I'm sorry about that, but if you're this far, just talk to me again, I guess. And just, if it won't let you post anymore, or if it doesn't let me, I will, like, send a regular comment. But yeah, goodbye. And I'm gonna do a different what if after this. Or I'm gonna finish that what if Deku is the Ventures. Yeah, My Hero. Bye.